Hi, this is Jim, and we're going to take a look at stocks. Now, I always got to throw that in. I could be wrong on this stuff because anybody can be wrong. Nobody can predict the future. So it's not like I don't consider it like people say, oh, Jim's wrong on the stock market. I just consider you got to do your technical analysis and you got to kind of say what you're seeing and play it from there. It's not like I'm trying to predict the market or anything, but there's just some warning signs here, and I just think it's good to take notice of these right now. This is the SPY, which is basically the S&P 500, and this goes back clear to 2000, and then this top was in like '07, and then now we're right at that area. Now, whenever you get to a past resistance level, that is a very important area. And then, of course, you could think to yourself, well, this could go through this resistance area. Well, it could, but the thing is if even if it does, it's probably going to come back here and test. And what I would say more is if this breaks this resistance area, probably first it's going to, since it's just hitting this for the third time, it's going to at least consolidate and probably correct down before it does. So I think at the very least we're going to have a correction here. I mean, look how these markets work. Go up, correction. On the monthly chart, it doesn't look like that big a correction, but these are big corrections. Up, correction, and so again on the monthly time frame, these don't look like big corrections, but there would be nothing wrong with this market pulling clear back to here, and that would be quite a bit of selling in the market. And that doesn't mean we're going to start a bear market or anything. But again, on the other hand, there's nothing saying we can't start a bear market from this level. So we're up against resistance. For this to break through here, I still wouldn't turn super bullish even if it did break above here, because I would still be looking for the market to come back here and test. And like I said, there's a lot of warning signs on a lot of stocks. That's another thing. When you look at the big flyers right now, a lot of them look like they could be topping out. And again, it might just be a correction, but the big thing is to be really cautious here. Now, here's something really interesting on this. See how I got this trend line drawn right across the top of the last three major tops in this SPY. Now, this is what's cool about this track and trade software I'm using. This we'll keep this trend line in here, and we'll pull it down to the daily time frame. Now look at where that trend line came in, and look at how the market came up and just slammed back below that trend line. And again, today we're up big, but that's not unusual. When you have these tops aren't going to come in and just be quiet. It's going to be really volatile action. And again, I'm not even saying this is a top. I'm saying that there's a possibility it's a top, because when you put in a wide range bar like this, or excuse me, a narrow range bar like this, then you have, this is a hanging man pattern in candlesticks. If we would put a candlestick chart on this, and a hanging man when it's followed by a slam down bar, that is a topping pattern. Now again, it doesn't always work. None of this excuse me, none of this stuff always works. So right now I'm just saying there's a possibility that this is a top, and it could come back here and make another high. But I think we're closer to a top and a correction than we are to a low, because we've had a big rally. Again, that's just kind of common sense. These markets aren't going to go one direction and just keep going. So at least we're on the verge of a correction. And again, that doesn't mean that this might not rally another however many points, but I mean, I think there are some warning signs here that we got to start looking at and be very cautious. And what I'm doing in my premium newsletter is, as this rally was going on, I was putting out trades like crazy. I was buying, let's see if I can kind of zoom this in a little bit here. Back here I was bullish because I thought we were just taking off on a rally. So I was buying stocks. I was putting out like trades almost every night in my premium newsletter. And I was giving them quite a bit of room to work, like I was putting out like a normal stop. Now what I've done up here is we took a lot of nice profits in this run up here. And now I've cut down my trades to almost pretty much, 2 or 3 trades. And then I've brought the stop up super close on all of them. So basically I'm just being super cautious here. So if the market keeps rallying, that's fine, you know. But I'm saying if it drops, then we're prepared for it. Now, here's another interesting thing. MACD. This is a really good indicator to look at for tops and see how this is made lower momentum reading. Is this made a higher momentum reading or a higher price reading? So this made a higher price, lower momentum, and then it's hooked over. So that's a big warning sign right there. Um, let's see here if we can zoom out of that and see if you see that MACD as price came up here. It didn't make a new high, and you know when you get this big bar down. Now again, today gapped way up, but it's still yet to see what happened, and that's short covering. And again, this thing could trade anyway. So now I'm going to just buzz through a few stocks. I kind of talked more on that than I wanted to, so I probably won't show you as many stocks as I was going to. Google, now look at this. Google's a high flyer. Probably the number one stock right now. And remember Apple, when it was $700 a share, everybody thought it was going to $1,000 a share. Gold, when it was 1600, everybody was predicting 2000. Now gold's crashed. That's the way these markets work. You got to learn from this. And right now, Google, everybody's saying $1,000 a share. Well, it's at eight whatever, eight something, eight. It made the high around 830 here, 840, and now it's come down. And you know, everybody's saying Google $1,000 a share. You know, we got to learn from this. When everybody's bullish on this and everybody's predicting super high prices, that's when the top's usually going to come in, because what happens is people have got big profits in this and they're going to start selling. Okay, this is the weekly chart of Google. Look at the MACD, bearish divergence, lower momentum, higher price. That's the way tops come in. Is this a top? Who knows, but this is the way tops come in. So there's a good chance it is a top on a weekly time frame. Plus the MACD is pointing down now. The momentum's down on this stock right now. Now if we go to the daily chart of Google, bulls and bears system of track and trade is on a sell arrow. I mean, that's very important. You can't ignore that. Again, that doesn't mean Google's might not turn right around and put in a buy signal, but when this thing puts in a sell signal like this, you got to respect it. I mean, right now Google's on a sell signal, and you know, again today it might have a up day, but this has made quite a move off the high, and people are gonna. What happens is it kind of slowly drifts down, and then it'll come up and test and slowly drift down, and then it'll just crash all at once. That's kind of what gold did. Gold kept going down and up and down and up, and then boom. So again, you know, put a trend line on some of this stuff. When we break through these areas, you gotta think, whoops, sorry about that. When we break through these areas, you gotta think something might be going on with this stock. And then, oh, here's a good one. If you put a trend line over from the last high, okay, now right now, that's providing some support. Which is just natural. This thing's not just going to just crash down because everybody's bullish on it right now. But if we break through that support, that will be another clue. Hey, maybe Google has put in the top. Right now, it's just kind of at a point where I would just be kind of looking at it. Here's another thing that this track and trade has is these advantage lines, and they're really good. Might not be able to see that too good, but if we zoom in, these advantage lines have put in a sell signal, and they're still on a sell signal. So I wouldn't even consider buying Google again until this advantage line put in a buy signal. And if Google were to trade higher and put in some green bars, then you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's going to keep going higher, but it's a touchy situation right now. It's like the advantage lines are pointing down, the bars are red. This stock's in a downtrend right now, so you got to kind of go with what's happening at the time. And again, you know, people are thinking $1,000 a share. It could make $1,000 a share, but right now I wouldn't be long Google right now. That's the way you got to trade these. Now here's a stock I'll do one more. I did go short this stock. I put out a sell signal for this stock in my premium stock newsletter, and here's the reason I put out a sell for this. Is basically this is KORS. Kind of looks like it's making a head and shoulders type, you know, top pattern. A lot of times stocks will top out on gaps up, And then look at this. This is a hanging man. If you follow candlesticks, this isn't a candlestick chart, but you can just look at it and tell it's a hanging man. This is the way hanging men look. We'll go into that some other time. But when it makes a hanging man and the next day it slams down, that's one of the best patterns there is to say that a top is in. That's an extreme change of sentiment. I mean, the traders have said we're selling now, we're selling now. So this comes down, it makes a test. That's the way they do. They come down, they come up and test, slam down again. Now this is on a bulls and bears sell, and the bars are starting to turn red, making lower highs, lower lows. And then again, this is kind of a support area here. If this breaks this area here, I think this stock's going to head lower. So that's what I got to sell stop in the premium newsletter down here, and we're going to sell this. And then I got to, I got the stop loss up here, and we're just taking a shot that this might go lower. And we are long a couple trades, but not too many. So I'm going to wrap this up, and I'll do more videos. I hope you like this information. I'm using this track and trade software. I really like it because it paints these bars and gives these arrows, and I really like these advantage lines. I mean, I like everything about it, but these are some of the main things I'm using. I like to keep it simple, but I don't mind, like there's advantage lines. They put in a sell. Now they put in a sell different. Their sell signal is different than the bulls and bears sell. So their sell signal actually came in right here. The advantage line sell signal. The bulls and bears sell came in here. The advantage lines are still on a sell signal. So again, there's no reason to go along this stock. Now that's good information to have. Like I said, a lot of people would be thinking, oh, this is just a counter trend move and it's going to head higher. Well, it might, but right now you don't want to be long this stock because the bars are red, the advantage line is pointing down, and then if we put the MACD on here, let's see, MACD, see how that's crossed over to the downside. Now that really didn't put in a bullish or a bearish divergence at the top, but again, if we take this chart farther back, it might have. But right now the MACD is on a sell signal, so that's all bearish stuff. So anyway, thanks for listening to my video. This is Jim with ProfitTraining.com.